So early voting, record turnout in early voting, and this is what happens, and this is the path to 270. Some people are not even informed when it comes to the electoral college vote. Y'all don't even know anything about it. Oh man, it's whoever get the most. No, it's not. It's not about popular vote. It's about Jesus Christ. It's a roll to 270. Each state, let me break it down from a C student's perspective. Each state get a certain amount of votes based off of how popular or how populated that state is and which counties and those are affecting directly what happens in this particular election. That's why Kamala Harris has been in Michigan in three different counties, three different times all this weekend. All this past weekend, she was in Michigan, Michigan, because the path to the White House is here in Michigan. But record early voter turnouts. This is the path to 270. Let's take a look.
We want to bring in our friend Chuck Todd, NBC's chief political analyst, who is suiting up for what is effectively your Super Bowl. Green Bay Packers, by the way, looking good.
We'll get there. Let's say big game this weekend.
We do. We got a big game for a lot of Americans coming up on Tuesday. So many folks already voting early, 60 million plus right now. More women, it turns out, than men in a lot of occasions. What does that behavior, this new sort of pattern, tell us?
I'm a little hesitant to even read too much into it. And why? 2020 was such a unique year with COVID, and people voted in so many different ways. Plus, you had the politicizing of how you vote was more so in 2020. Here's what I can tell you. More Democrats are going to vote on.
If it's too long of a line, you know our people ain't going to wait. Skip that. Skip that. I was all engaged. I looked at all of the videos. I don't want to wait.
Election day than they did in 2020, and more Republicans are voting early than they did in 2020. But if you try to read too many this is apples and blueberries. I mean, it's all fruit, but I'm just not sure there's anything to read into it.
Will we know the answer sooner, though?
But I will say this, that we will. I do think more people voting early means we should get more of the vote quicker, if you will. And I think in that sense, I'll give you a scenario where we won't find out for a long time. But if we're waiting at the East Coast states, we should know by Wednesday morning.
Okay,
I really believe that.
Let's lay out the path to that magic number of 270. Let's start with the vice president. How does she get there?
The simplest path for her is just winning these three blue wall states. Gets her right to 270. We're assuming she gets the Omaha district there. This means she doesn't have to win a single state in the Sun Belt. She could lose all four of those other states. She sits at 270. If he wins everything else, it would put him 2 electoral votes short. So that's the simplest path. But the tricky thing is, what happens if she loses Pennsylvania? So let's go ahead and give her those two. But she loses Pennsylvania. We give that to President Trump. If he wins Georgia, which a lot of analysts believe, he's only one North Carolina away, and then he's done. This is his simplest path. He just wins Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Again, we don't even have to wait for these West Coast counts, which will take a week to find out who's president.
So the quickest path, a lot of these is the swing states that they've been campaigning in, which is Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, right? Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan are some of the biggest states, which is why they don't show up until in campaign season and they start getting there. The thing about it is that Nevada and Arizona are also swing states, but those are then in play basically if you start to get to 269 versus 269. But I believe he's going to explain this because they have to go through every single scenario.
Doesn't win Pennsylvania, she's got to pick up Nevada or
So if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, she's got to win either North Carolina or Georgia. Because from there, look where we have her. Then she just needs one other these West Coast states. So I've been telling people this. North Carolina and Pennsylvania. If one of them wins them both, game over. There's really no realistic path. But if they split it, that's when we know it could be a long night, especially if they split it the way I said. So she wins North Carolina. We could be living here in Nevada, waiting and waiting and waiting. And if you remember, Nevada will take a week to count all their votes.
Well, because they go 4 days after.
And you'll have more ballots coming in. Yeah. And then you're really going to be used a lot on air because this.
Oh, brother. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. The last thing that I want, listen, and trust me, this election has been very, 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 very profitable for me. I will tell you that there is no bigger ad spend, and I've been doing YouTube for well over 10 years now. There is no bigger ad spend Shout out to you, Zero. I'll check that email shortly. There's no bigger ad spend than the election. They look, all of y'all money that y'all keep donating to these candidates. Shout out to all of the Kamala Harris supporters, because Kamala Harris probably have spent $200,000 on ads just on the Anton Daniels channel alone. Let me give Kamala Harris supporters a round of applause. Kamala Harris supporters, all of the AKAs that gave money, y'all might as well have just gave it directly to me. All of the AKAs that gave money, all of the Divine Nine, all of the black churches, all of that money came here. All of the ad spend was coming to us. But I'ma just be honest with you. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I want this by tomorrow night / Wednesday morning. I want to definitively be doing live shows about what's going to happen as a result of finding out that Trump won. All right. Nobody is trying to be sitting here towards the end of the week talking about 4 or 5 days after the election. They still counting votes. Ain't nobody got time for that. We already dealing with this nonsense as it is, and people, trying to manipulate the election and this election voter fraud and all of this nonsense in the first place. And we shouldn't even be waiting all the way up until election day to put systems in place that make sure that we don't have any election fraud in the first place. Nobody is trying to be sitting here all the way through the weekend talking about who won the election. Come on, Nevada. Nevada needs to get it together, bro.
This is going to be lawyers upon lawyers litigating which ballots can get fixed or cured is the language you'll start to see, those provisional ballots. So the nightmare scenario where we're just waiting for weeks, sort of the Florida of 2000, is this one where she wins either North Carolina or Georgia and he wins Pennsylvania, because then it makes these two states, probably Nevada, but either one of them, with their very long mail-in process that we've been waiting for ballots, we'll be waiting here for a week.
We're playing in the land of hypotheticals right now, but there is one scenario that you talk about where this thing really turns into a little bit of madness. 269 electoral votes each. How does that happen, and what happens then?
Well, the simplest way it would happen is if Donald Trump won that Nebraska electoral vote. See here, you've got her winning all the blue wall states and winning all those Sun Belt states, but if he wins that one Omaha district, we are sitting at this 269.
And then I got to brush off my knowledge of the 12th Amendment.
We go to the House, and it is one vote per congressional district. So, for instance, if this is a swing, Alaska has one member of Congress, one member of the House. Right now, it's a Democratic member of the House. It is one of the closest House races in the country. We'll be waiting for that result. So if we're sitting in a 269 tie, we're going to be wondering, because Mary Patullo's one vote will determine whether she votes for it's a Democratic delegation or Republican delegation. It is one vote. California will have one vote. Alaska will have one vote.
Wow.
That's I guess that would be the triple nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
If we do this. By the way, this is a flaw.
Incredibly
that
rare.
Should be fixed in the Constitution.
Yeah, I think
it
Americans
is ridiculous.
all agree. We hope this is not where this thing ends
and
up.
It's way too easy for it to happen. There is another scenario that actually happened where she does carry the Omaha district. This is not that far-fetched. He carries Pennsylvania and Georgia. She carries North Carolina, Wisconsin, but he also carries Michigan, and then she carries Arizona and Nevada. It's the These are not these aren't 1% possibilities here. There are two realistic ways we could have this 269.
We'll figure it out.
I think everybody is stressed the fuck out at this point. I'm sorry for cursing. Forgive me, Lord. I know not what I do sometimes. I'm not cussing on a Millionaire Morning Show no more. I believe that everybody is stressed the hell out at this point. Real talk. Seriously. All jokes aside, I think that people have anxiety out the window. I don't. And for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. Number one, I do believe in my heart. I believe in my core that it's going to be a Trump victory. I believe in my core is going to be a Trump victory. That's number one. Number 2, I win no matter what. I win no matter what. I have largely taken it out of the hands of politicians of whether or not my life, my family, and everything that I got going on, all the people around me, is going to be successful. So I would love to do this for the benefit of America because I love this country. But it's a strong possibility that even if Kamala Harris wins, I get way more money. As a content creator, I make way more money. So that's number two. But again, I'm America first. I don't want to get richer as a result of Kamala Harris, winning. But number three, I truly believe that God's will is going to be done, whatever happens. Either people are going to have to suffer as a result of their decisions, or we going to make America great again. Either people are going to suffer as a result of their decisions, or we're going to make this country great again. So those are my three reasons why I've rested in God. I gave it to Jesus. I did my part. I advocated on the behalf of who I thought was the best candidate. Ultimately, I voted. I participated in it. And I just won't. I believe that Trump is going to win this. I just truly do. I want him to win it. Then at the same time, I had to give it to God. I had to let it. You do your part. What's the name of it? Don't pray and worry. Don't pray and worry. You just let it go. You let it go. But we all have a vested interest in this. I'm always curious as the people that don't participate in the election process. How do y'all be anxious? How do you be anxious about who's going to become president of the United States of America and you don't even vote? That's the only thing that I'm trying to figure out. How do you be anxious about, and honestly, I think that it's just a fundamental, if you asking me, there has never been any bigger of a gap on who we should pick as a president of the United States of America. And we just got two choices. The first choice, in my opinion, is, and this is how I see it. Are you going with, you can be whatever you want to be when you want to be it, depending on what gender you wake up and feeling like at the moment, that you support being able to delete babies and unwanted pregnancies as a form of contraception? Do you believe in open borders? Do you also believe in an economy where we tax our way into socialism? Or do you believe truly in closed borders, less taxes, more opportunity, more American dollars coming back here instead of us being in these proxy wars, and then ultimately immigration, but doing it the right way? And then last but not least, do you believe in the word of God, and are you truly spiritually sound? Because there's no way in the world that you can vote for a Democrat if you truly believe in the Bible. Impossible. Impossible. So now we got a decision to make. We're going to find out tomorrow, hopefully not by the end of next week or the end of this week. We're going to find out tomorrow where we stand morally as a country. We're going to find out where our values are. If this is the fall of America, or are we going to get back to getting to the money?